At Manchester United, the number 7 shirt is not just a number, it is a crown, a responsibility, a weight that only the greatest can carry. From dazzling wingers to dominant leaders, the players who wore this shirt defined entire eras of United's history. But who were the greatest of them all? Today, we count down the 5 greatest number 7s ever to play for Manchester United. Legends like George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo. They all left their mark, but who deserves the number 1 spot? Stay with me, because you might be surprised by the order. Number 5, David Beckham. At number 5, we begin with one of the most recognizable faces in football history, David Beckham. For some, he was more celebrity than footballer, but those who watched him week in, week out at Old Trafford know the truth. Beckham was more than the glamour. He was precision, he was consistency, he was United through and through. From his debut in the mid-90s to his peak in 1999, Beckham was the heartbeat of United's right flank. His crossing ability was unmatched. He could pick out Andy Cole, Dwight York, or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a ball bent perfectly into stride. His free kicks were iconic, the kind of moments that froze stadiums and broke goalkeepers' hearts. Beckham was also a tireless worker, running endlessly up and down the wing, pressing opponents, and never shying away from the physical battles of the Premier League. His crowning moment came in the treble-winning season of 1999, when his delivery from wide positions was vital to United's success in the league, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. But Beckham's legacy is complicated. His fallout with Ferguson, an eventual move to Real Madrid, meant his time in the shirt ended earlier than it might have. Still, his contribution to United's success in the late 90s and early 2000s makes him a worthy entry in the top 5. He may not be the most dominant number 7, but he is undoubtedly one of the most iconic. Number 4, Bryan Robson. At number 4, we have Bryan Robson, the man they called Captain Marvel. If Beckham brought the glamour, Robson brought the grit. He was the heartbeat of Manchester United throughout the 1980s, a leader who carried the team through one of its most difficult eras. Robson was a complete midfielder, tough in the tackle, tireless in his running, but also capable of scoring crucial goals. He was not just a destroyer, he was a driving force, dragging United forward in games where others might have folded. His leadership was so commanding that teammates often said the team felt unbeatable with Robson on the pitch. During his time at United, Robson won FA Cups and captained England, but perhaps his greatest contribution was cultural. He set the standard for what wearing the badge meant. His mentality and commitment created the foundation that Ferguson would later build on when he arrived at the club. Robson's era was not one of Champions Leagues or multiple league titles, but it was one of identity. In many ways, he kept United alive in the 80s, ensuring the club never lost its competitive edge. Without him, the transition into the dominance of the 1990s might have been much harder. Bryan Robson may not have the global fame of Beckham or the flair of Best, but as a leader, a warrior, and a symbol of Manchester United's fighting spirit, he deserves his place in the top 5. Number 3, George Best. At number 3, we arrive at George Best, the original genius of the number 7 shirt. For many, he was not just Manchester United's greatest talent, but one of the most naturally gifted footballers the world has ever seen. Best was a winger like no other. He glided past defenders with ease, combining pace, balance, and close control that made him untouchable at his peak. He had the confidence to take risks, the vision to create, and the finishing ability to score spectacular goals. At his best, he was simply unplayable. His crowning moment came in 1968 when he inspired United to their first ever European Cup triumph, scoring in the final against Benfica. That same year, he was awarded the Ballon d'Or, cementing his place as the finest player in Europe. For United fans, it was proof that their club could produce not just great teams, but truly world-class icons. But Best's story is also one of unfulfilled potential. His lifestyle off the pitch caught up with him far too soon. By his mid-20s, the decline had begun, and what might have been a decade of dominance was cut short. Even so, the brilliance he produced in those peak years was enough to make him a legend. George Best embodied the artistry and unpredictability of the number 7 shirt. He set the standard for flair, skill, and entertainment, inspiring generations that followed. If his career had lasted longer, he might well have been at number 1 on this list. Number 2. Eric Cantona. At number 2, we have Eric Cantona, the man who transformed Manchester United. When he arrived from Leeds in 1992, he was not just another signing. He was the catalyst that turned Ferguson's promising side into serial winners. Eric Cantona was a player of charisma, swagger, and unmatched self-belief. He played football with elegance and arrogance, demanding the ball, demanding attention, and demanding excellence from those around him. His goals, his creativity, and his sheer presence lifted the entire team. United's attack found its rhythm through him, and his teammates often said he made them believe they could dominate English football. The numbers speak for themselves. In 5 years at United, Eric Cantona won 4 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups. His chipped goal against Sunderland, his celebrations with the upturned collar, his leadership without needing the captain's armband. These moments have all become part of United's mythology. But Eric Cantona's influence was about more than trophies or highlights. He changed the culture. He gave Ferguson's young squad the confidence to dominate, and in doing so, laid the foundation for the dynasty that followed. Without Eric Cantona, the class of '92 may never have risen the way they did. Eric Cantona was not at Old Trafford for decades, but his impact was seismic. He was the king, the talisman, and the embodiment of everything the number 7 shirt should represent. Number 1. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Madeira, Manchester, Madrid, Turin, and Manchester again.
And at number 1, we come to Cristiano Ronaldo, the player who took the number 7 shirt and carried it to global heights. When he joined United as a teenager in 2003, he was raw talent. By the time he left in 2009, he was the best player in the world. Ronaldo's evolution at Old Trafford was nothing short of extraordinary. He arrived as a tricky winger, full of stepovers and unpredictability. Under Ferguson's guidance, he transformed into a ruthless forward who could score from anywhere. Free kicks, long-range strikes, towering headers, Ronaldo mastered them all. His numbers tell the story. 119 goals in 294 appearances, a Ballon d'Or in 2008, 3 Premier League titles, a Champions League crown in Moscow, countless individual awards, and perhaps most importantly, he became the symbol of United's dominance in the mid-2000s, carrying the club to some of its greatest nights. But beyond the statistics, Ronaldo redefined what it meant to wear the number 7. He combined the artistry of Best, the leadership of Robson, the charisma of Eric Cantona, and the precision of Beckham, and then elevated it all to another level. He turned the shirt into a global brand, and himself into a global icon. Cristiano Ronaldo was not just Manchester United's greatest number 7, he was one of the greatest players to ever play the game. His legacy at Old Trafford remains unmatched, and for many, he is the standard by which all future number 7s will be judged. So there you have it, the 5 greatest number 7s in Manchester United history. Beckham brought the precision, Robson carried the fight, Best gave us the artistry, Eric Cantona transformed a generation, and Ronaldo elevated it all to world dominance. 5 legends, 5 different eras, 1 shirt that demands greatness. The number 7 at Manchester United is more than a number. It is a legacy, a challenge, and a weight that only the very best can carry.
He has stormed England, dazzled Spain, ruled Italy, and risen still on the grandest of nights. He is power sculpted into poetry, hunger painted in goals, a man who refused limitation. When games cry for heroes, Ronaldo answers again and again, relentlessly. He is not just a footballer, he is football's gladiator, the emblem of immortality. If one must stand above all, then let it be him, Cristiano Ronaldo.
But here is the question for you. Who do you think is the greatest number 7 in United's history? Does Cristiano Ronaldo deserve the top spot? Should Eric Cantona or George Best be higher? Or maybe you would put Robson's leadership above them all? Drop your top 5 in the comments and let's debate.